And I'm the stupid one.
Because you claim you were
I'm
seeing your
the
eyelids.
stupid one. You're a fucking moron. Our guest today is Mark. He's a listener and he's an optician. Or is he? Dun, dun, dun. Hello, Mark.
Hello.
Welcome to the Joe Marler Show, co-hosted by Tom Fordyce. But
Hello, Mark.
He refused to put his name in the title, so welcome to this show.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Why has Steve put, or is he? Are you not an optician?
So I am an optician, but what people think an optician is usually an optometrist. So you go in and have your eye test. The person that sits in the dark room with you, option one, option two, puts the lenses in front of your eyes is what's called an optometrist. Whereas the building or the business is called an opticians, and you can qualify as a dispensing optician to sell glasses, which is what I do. So I'm not the person that does the 1-2-1-2 in the room, but then you can also go on to be a contact lens optician, which is what I also do. So when you're going to see the optician, it's not the man in the room that is an optician.
Is that sorted out in your head, Joe, or made it worse?
Optometrist. An optometrist. What the fuck's an optometrist?
He's the 1-2 guy.
What's the... Hang on. When was the last time you went to the opticians, Tom?
About a year ago.
Oh.
I'm due a checkup.
So do you know how it works?
I'm very familiar with the better, worse, or the same question. And also, Joe, when you go in, and Mark, you'll be familiar with this, even as the man doesn't do the better, worse, or the same. When you go in and there's a number of letters on a screen, some of which are the sort of size that you might ordinarily read, and some which are so fucking small that there is no other point in your life when you have to read a tiny letter miles away.
Yeah, so although when I'm in the room with doing contact lenses things, I still have to get people to read the really teeny tiny writing, but there is a level that we kind of class as that's good vision. That's where we want people to aim for. It's very rarely the very bottom. And then there's each one's kind of given a grading on how good their vision is. But to be fair, in test room, I normally ignore the 2 or 3 bottom ones.
Oh, this is good. Joe, you've never been to an opticians or optometrists?
My experiences of an optician or an optometrist, eye person.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go with that one? Yeah,
Sure.
Thanks. My experience of an eye person is only from school, when they used to come around and put the chart up and you'd hold one eye in front of the other, hold one hand in front of the other. Although that would be quite cool.
Be a good trick, that, wouldn't it?
I think there's been fleeting eye people that have come in and out of the club, but I can see things. So I just go, yeah, I can see, rather than go and get tested, because I think it's one big con, if I'm honest. Like, tell me the truth, Mark, do you actually just lie to people? How am I meant to know whether I've got good eyes or not? Like,
You go and have an eye test.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but is there part of you that does lie to people so that you can sell them glasses or contact lenses?
No.
You say, you put something so far away that it physically can't be seen, but that person doesn't know that. And then you go, well, I can't see that. And you go, right, here you go. You need this pair, 150 quid.
But generally speaking, people are coming to see me because they can't see in their real life. So they're not coming in totally symptomless and go and tell me if I need glasses or not. Usually they're coming in because they can't see to drive properly, or they feel their vision's gotten worse.
Right, so I tried flipping that in a semi-passive aggressive way of that, thinking that you're a con artist, and you're not. You're actually there helping people.
Absolutely.
He's actually really kind,
He's a nice man.
gentle man. How do they work then?
Glasses or eyes? Or
No, me eyes. Like,
your eyes?
all I know is that when I look at stuff, it comes in my eyes,
Technical term.
and then it goes to my brain to say that's what it looks like. How is that as good an explanation as we're going to get? Or
I'd probably go into a bit more detail if I was talking to somebody at work.
do,
But
please.
so light comes out of, say, the light bulb of the sun or any light source. It will then bounce off of the object that you want to look at. It will then travel back, hit your eye. It goes through a lens in your eye, and then an image is put onto the back of your eye, which is called your retina. The retina then makes a chemical kind of response at the back of your eye, which then changes to a nerve response back to your brain, and then you see it as an image.
Is it true, Mark, and I was told this by my friend Conker, so it may well not be true, that the image on our retinas is upside down and then our brain flips it?
What?
Yeah, so
Hang on, fucking answer it first. Sorry, I'm sorry. I jumped in there, so confused.
So the front of your eye is curved, right? It's not flat. So if you look through anything that's curved, if you look, it flips the image upside down. But because it hits your retina, the image isn't traveling along your nerves. Electrical impulses are. So the brain hasn't got to flip it. It just knows. It doesn't reverse the image that's on there. It just kind of reads the chemical, the electrical impulses.
Would you be worried, Joe, now You know what it's like if someone tries to put a thought in your head and then you can't get rid of it? What about...
Doesn't happen to me.
No? All right, try this one. What if your brain starts reading the image the way the retina has presented it, so suddenly you're living in a world where everything is upside down? So Joe's left his chair and he's put his arse in the air. That's a lovely arse shot you're showing us. And he's now experiencing life in the studio upside down.
Get a bit of a headache, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it'd be
doing it
quite
that way.
hard, I think.
Yeah, difficult.
But would I feel like this all the time?
I mean, as long as I didn't feel like this, looking directly up your arse crack.
My anus.
Up your anus.
That's just so incredible. But what also pointless. If it comes in warped, surely we should have like developed it to a point where it doesn't come in warped.
We don't need
Why
to.
doesn't it just come in less warped?
Well, it's not warped. It's just because it's curved, it reverses it. But the brain knows to just flip it up the right way, so it doesn't need to.
So our eyes are what? They're
curved. They're
So there's that concave. That's concaved.
convex.
Convex.
Yeah.
So if our eyes were concaved, picture that for a second. So your eyes actually.
Oh, it bulged backwards.
Would we then see things backwards, upside down?
No, you'd probably see things smaller. You'd see things a lot smaller than they actually are because it would change the way that it. Yeah. You've still got a lens inside your eye, behind the front of your eye, though, so that does most of the work.
Have you ever had someone who's come in and said, my brain has stopped reading the images properly and I live in an upside down world?
Never, no. No, we haven't. Even if somebody takes a massive bang on the head, we've never had that.
Well, I might be in shortly. Is it true that you're born with the same eyes that we've got now?
What do you
Don't
mean?
replace them.
Swap eyes, do you, in your life?
No, I haven't worded it right. So I look at my kids now. In fact, I've looked at them all the time, and I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that their eyes as babies are the same eyes they'll be when they're 20. Wait, I haven't finished, Tom.
All right.
As in the same size. It's just you don't see as much of it because their eyes are closed more.
No, I think your eyes are constantly getting bigger. I think they're
Oh,
always
so they do
like-
grow.
They do, yeah, and especially if you're short-sighted, your eyes can get longer. In children, especially, their eyes can go longer, makes you more short-sighted.
Oh, it's just that image of Pixie as like a 1-year-old having like adult-sized eyes, but they're in her head, but you can't see him because the eyelids are sort of. Do you know
I
what I mean?
heard that as well.
Did you?
Yeah.
You
No, I did. It reminds me when I
But then
was
you
little.
think about it, if they've got adult-sized eyeballs in their tiny baby head, there's fuck all room for anything else.
Have
Maybe
you ever
that's
seen...
why they're so stupid.
Brilliant,
Just
brilliant.
going through it.
Pixie, if you're listening to this, you're a stupid little 1-year-old. Why do people squint? I've got a couple of mates that struggle to see, and they do that a lot. They squint with their eyes. They're like, oh, I can't really know what that. But whenever I do that, I can't fucking see anything.
Because you've shut your eyes.
Okay, whenever I just do it but slightly open them, it's worse to see. So how does that improve?
So if you have a prescription and need glasses, then the image that hits the back of your retina is blurry. So by squinting, you're reducing what we call the aperture, your pupil. You're reducing it down, so it makes it less blurry on the back of your eye. So in tests, we can put a pinhole. If you look for a pinhole, it can actually make your vision quite a lot better. If you've, obviously it's not very convenient walking around just with a tiny little pinhole in front of your eye.
Fuck's sake, yeah, let's put these glasses on where you've got the smallest, tiniest hole that you can see. Mate, you'd be walking into everything.
You would, yeah, but it would make that tiny little bit sharp or sharper. Yeah.
Does it make any difference whatsoever to the quality of your eyesight, Mark, what colour your eyes are? So does someone who's got brown eyes, for example, have slightly better eyesight than someone with blue eyes, or is it just random?
Not so much better eyesight. That if you've got brown eyes, you've got more pigment on your iris, so you're less likely to get UV damage and things. So which
Like
people
built-in sunglasses?
not really, because you've
No,
still got a
okay.
pupil. It goes in. No, but and it is letting your iris. The idea is it blocks out some light. But if you've got really blue, which typically when you've got people that live near the equator, really hot countries, they've generally got brown eyes. People that live really far away generally have blue eyes because there's less sun intensity and less UV.
Wow.
Whoa.
I did not know that there was any correlation between eye colour and where you live. And
Yeah, so I mean, generally speaking, you'll get odd exceptions, but yeah, generally speaking, people that live in really, really hot countries have pretty dark eyes.
why in this day and age do we actually have glasses when we can just operate on anything? Surely no one needs glasses or contacts. They just go bzz, bzz, and it's fixed. No?
Glasses are cool now, aren't they? I think that's the thing is for
So
a
you're
lot.
seeing that as a trend as well.
Absolutely. So when I first started, you'd get children crying because they needed glasses. Generally, you get kids crying now because they don't need them all the time. Yeah, because they're cool. You see celebrities wearing cool glasses. So glasses are cool now.
And how funny the world's changed, because I'm looking at you, Tom, and you definitely picked on people with glasses when you were younger in your day, because you're that bit older than me. 4 eyes, specky eyes, specky milk bottle bottoms. Were you one of those?
No, I wasn't, because I used to wear glasses as a kid. Bum, bum, bum.
Did you actually?
Yeah. So I wear contact lenses now.
What? When was this happened?
Well, the thing is, because you can't see contact lenses, you're surprised, aren't you? But in our entire relationship, Joe, there has always been a contact lens or two between
I've never
us.
seen you put one in or out.
No, it's because we haven't slept together in the same room.
You normally do it in your bathroom.
Yeah.
So it'd be a bit weird.
This whole thing about glasses being cool. Do you know people, Joe? There's a couple of your teammates or ex-teammates I'm thinking of here in particular, who wear glasses with lenses that are just clear lenses.
Yeah, there's been a few,
Yeah.
and I've mocked them hard for it over the years. However,
You know that guy.
I now have about 3 or 4 different sets at home
Of clear glasses.
of clear glass glasses, just because it sometimes goes with my outfit. You know what I mean? If I'm wearing like a Peaky Blinders suit that I've got, I'll put on my flat cap and then put on these like little round curl behind your ear glasses, and I quite like it. So, oh God, all those years of mocking, and then I become. Mark, do I see what Tom sees, and does Tom see what I see?
Probably not when he hasn't got his contact lenses in, but when he's got them in, probably if your eyes are good, then yeah, you'll see the same things.
So me and Tom are looking at you now.
Yep.
And although we're at slightly different angles, we're looking at you. We're seeing exactly the same image.
Yeah, the only difference would be if one of you was, say, if you needed glasses and didn't know about it, you wouldn't feel it was blurry because in your mind, this is how vision should be. If you've got good eyes and you've got your contact lenses in and they're the right prescription, then yeah, you're both seeing the same. The only time it would be different if one of you was colourblind or something.
Right, colourblind. Is it as obvious as you don't see colour?
No, it's not black and white, or very rarely is it just black and white. Do you see brown instead of red and green? Do you get a red-green deficiency? Yeah.
So there are some people that can only see black and white.
Yeah, very few.
Very few.
When people say they're colourblind, we generally say colour deficient, but yeah.
How do we know that the green that we're seeing is the same green that someone else sees?
Well, usually when you're picking up somebody that is colourblind, usually it's as a child, and usually it's because they colour all their grass in brown or red when they're colouring as a kid.
Whoa.
So they're not able to differentiate between, can you draw the, colour the bus in red and they pick up the green one or the brown one. They all look the same.
What if, but that's just abiding by what society's always told you what grass should be. What if that child actually decided, I'm drawing a picture of this lovely house, that typical house that you draw, but actually I want to paint the grass as red and on fire because I want that house to burn down.
Then I think they've got other issues other than colour blindness.
Is this right? Please, can you double check me on this one? Blinking.
Yes.
Why do we blink?
Just okay. So the reason we blink is the front surface of your eye is quite a delicate. There's quite a lot going on with the front surface of your eye. So every time you blink, you wash tears over your eyes. So you're effectively crying, but not if that, you're washing tears over your eyes the whole time.
Always crying.
Sort of. You've constantly got tears being pumped into your eyes, and it sort of drains out through the middle bit near your nose. So there's always tears getting washed across your eyes. So it keeps your vision good. It's also good for keeping bugs out and things. Your tears, and washes away rubbish in your eyes. So yeah.
We need to talk about crying then, Joe.
These eyes are crying.
Yeah, why do we release water from our eyes when we're upset?
So it's no different really to what you're always doing. It's just there's loads more of it. So it's an emotional response, and you've got a gland on the upper outside corner of your eye, which pumps tears into your eyes all the time. And then when you're upset or you get hit in the nose or, it suddenly floods loads of them and the drainage channel can't deal with it. So it just runs down your face.
Might not be able to answer this one, but why do we cry then?
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
Why not secrete water from your ears or from your armpit or something if you're upset?
No, but but why?
Why secrete anything?
Yeah, but why can't we just be sad without any fluid coming out of us?
Are you a crier, Joe?
I cry a lot, yeah.
What makes you cry?
The air.
Oh.
Like if I go too close to a fan, when and then I just stare at it like I'm an inch away, that'll make me cry a lot. DOI SOS used to make me cry quite a lot. What makes you cry, Tom?
Well, that's a good question, Joe, because I would have said I wasn't a crier because I'm of that generation where boys don't cry. So you taught yourself not to cry pretty early. So it's very, very long time since I cried. But weirdly, as I've got older and I've got kids, the tears seem to want to return at random moments. You know, you sort of get a lump in your throat watching something, or something happens on TV with a kid that's, you know, makes you think your own kids, and suddenly you're thinking, I might cry for the first time in 20 years.
Can you cry if you're dehydrated?
Yes.
Like, is there any point where you just like dust comes out?
You're probably passing out before that, I'd imagine, and your eyes are probably going to close in anyway. But yeah, if you're really dehydrated, your tears aren't being made as well. And when you were saying before about having your face in the fan, that's because your eyes are dry. So then your brain recognises it's dry and send loads of tears all at the same time. So then that's why you then cry.
Why do our eyes have to be wet then?
It's kind of like a protective barrier over the front of your eye. So the cornea is really, really sensitive. So we don't want rubbish on it. We don't, yeah.
So the sort of damage you can do, I've heard people like when they've scratched their cornea
yeah,
and you
yeah.
go, fuck it. Whenever you get something you're poking eye, it's agony. But to actually scratch your cornea, would you then have like a line
You
that
can get a
see
scar
all the time?
Yeah, you get a scar. So if you're unlucky enough to damage the very central bit over your pupil, you'll get a scar there, and it'll ruin your vision for life. Yeah.
Fucking. Well, I'm just trying to picture like putting a pair of glasses on and just one of them just got a scratch
Like a
over
bad
it.
pair of sunglasses, yeah.
Yeah, would that be how it is? Is that what
Worse,
you see,
probably.
or just worse?
It'd be worse because with the glasses you could look past it, whereas this would just be on your eye all the time. You can damage your eyes in loads of ways. I had a lady the other day whose baby with their really razor nails grabbed hold of her eye, took a chunk out of her eye. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and that's probably her vision was really bad. So it maybe heal a little bit, but her vision will be affected forever probably.
Do you know how many times a year we blink?
I reckon we blink at least every 2 seconds. No, hang on. What about the time we're asleep? We're not blinking when we're asleep, are we?
I don't know.
Do we blink when we're asleep, Mark?
No, usually your eyes are shut.
What about those people that sleep with eyes open?
That's so weird,
Scare
isn't
the
it? How
fucking
do you
life-
do that?
How do you do that?
So weird.
Can you stop looking at something with your eyes open?
No, I don't think so. The information's always going to your brain.
Why don't we see the inside of our eyelids when we're asleep?
You do.
But it's dark. There's no light coming.
It's because the lights are off, you tit. Why can't I see anything in this room? Why can't I, when I walk into a completely blacked out room, why can't I see anything? Because I fucking lie. And I'm the stupid one.
Because you claim you were
I'm
seeing your
the
eyelids.
stupid one. You're a fucking moron.
All
I'm
this time
really
you think
sorry.
you've been looking at your eyelids.
What? No, I am looking at my eyelids because... Oh, no, it is like... No, I am still looking at my eyelids because in sunny days, when I close my eyes,
Yeah.
I can actually see the blood. I can see, like... In fact, what
Blood
am I doing?
vessels.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Oh,
So there's
it's-
a bit of light coming through then. So.
Anyway, so when your eyes are closed, do you see stuff moving? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
usually I see a lot of green. Like it's dark, but green. Do you know what I'm saying?
I can see... Yeah, it's sort of a bit of yellow and red and slightly strange patterns. A few drifty bits, like little bits of dust, just swimming across vision.
Mark?
Well, I've kind of got that bright light right next to me, so I've kind of got a bit of a hue of that. And yeah, you get little floaty bits in your vision. You get that quite a lot. Get that eyes open or shut, to be fair. But yeah,
Why is it if I look directly at a light or the sun, which you shouldn't do, kids, if there are kids that listen to this, which I fucking hope there's not. So I'm looking at it and I'm looking at it and it's quite a bright light. And then when I look back at you, Mark, I can see that bright light. It's covering your face now. What's happened there?
so at the back on your retina, you've got those receptor cells. When the light hits them, they kind of fire. And if you stare at a really intense light, that it kind of bleaches them for a little while. So they're constantly sending that same information to the brain. So even though you're looking away from the light, it's still sending to the brain as if the light's still there for a little while, and then they kind of calm down and goes away.
That's fascinating. As in, it's like delayed, but not. It's still telling you something's there, but it's not. You're not looking at that anymore.
Yeah, it's like an after image. You only get it with a bright light. You won't really get it with anything else. But
4.200. 400. No, fuck. 420,000 million per year we blink.
Do we? Times.
4.2 million?
that doesn't sound enough. I don't know.
4.2 billion. Right. What's this number? 4.2.
Give us your pad.
No, you'll look at my other notes. You'll steal my interesting questions.
So I really need your questions, don't I?
Close your eyes and then go.
It's in the dark. I need to look at.
What do you mean it's in the dark?
Hang on. When we're looking,
At the top.
Yeah, the number you've written is 4,200, saying 4,200,000 times a year. That doesn't seem enough, does it?
Well, I suppose you're spending half the year asleep, like you say, so that's just one long blink, isn't it?
So
I
have I got that wrong?
Where did you get this
I
fact?
don't know.
That's from Melina Joy, the local optician in
Oh, really?
Heathfield.
Okay.
They're called Melina Joy, and I can't work out whether that's their real name or that's just a ploy to get them in and be like, oh, we can have fun in optometry. Optometry. Fucking, can you say it out loud, Mark?
Optometry.
Optometry. That's where I was going wrong with it. I'm interested. Can you train your eyes like muscles? You know, like say you do a bicep curl, you just curl it over and you do some progressive overload and you slightly get heavier and heavier and then it gets bigger and bigger. Can you train your eyes? And if you can, do they get bigger?
So there aren't really muscles inside your eye to do that. There's a couple of little muscles which stretch your lens to see further away or close up, but the only muscles around your eye are the ones that make them move. So actually, in practice, the only exercises we give people are people that have problems accommodating, so bringing their eyes in to look at something close. So they'll do an exercise where they look at their finger sort of at arm's length, bring it in all the way to their nose and keep staring at it, and that can train your muscles to help your accommodation. But there are people on the internet who will claim that you can make your eyes better, and that's horseshit.
So you can't train your eyes.
No matter how much.
So if your
people-
eyes are dwindling in strength or you've got problems seeing long and short, if you've got a problem with your eyes, you've got a problem with your eyes.
And even if you there's this whole, if you put somebody else's glasses on, it will make your eyes worse. That won't happen either.
Really?
No, it won't. Children are a bit different. If children's eyes are so flexible and you can change their prescription. So if they wear glasses early enough, hopefully it will mean that they don't need glasses when they're older. Not always.
So it
work like
helps
that.
them?
Yeah, it can help them. So up to the age of about 8 or 9, you can really get rid of a prescription that so that they won't necessarily need them when they're older. Not always, but that's the hope. But with an adult, if you're short-sighted, you're short-sighted. And if it gets a bit worse, in a year's time, if it's gotten worse, it might be you've worn your glasses every day. It might be you've just left them in the drawer. It's not going to change.
What about the reverse? Like, can you make your eyes worse by doing certain things, like just staring at a computer screen or reading in bad light?
Yeah, can they go square? When they said, oh, get out of that, your eyes will go square.
No,
Is that
that's
true?
square eyes is old wives' tale.
Oh.
Looking at a computer is a classic thing of people, if they spend a lot of time on the computer, will feel their vision isn't as good, but that's because their eyes dry out. You don't blink as often. So you blink maybe up to 6 times less if you're just staring at the screen. So then your vision goes a bit funny. So we do something called 20-20-20. So every 20 minutes, take a 20-second break by looking at something 20 feet away, and it will help your eyes feel better. But you won't make your eyes worse by staring at the TV or sitting too close to the TV or anything like that.
Sorry, I was just doing my 20-20-20.
Joe, I've got a fact on blinking for you.
Go on.
Courtesy of Steve. I don't
Yep.
know why Steve thinks his blinking fact is better than yours or
Well-
more accurate.
I've found out that there's 4,200,000 blinks a year.
Steve's fact claims that on average, most people blink around 50 to 20 times each minute. That means while you're awake, says Steve's fact, you probably blink 900 to 1,200 times an hour, so therefore 14,400 to 19,200 times a day. I'm incapable of timesing either of those numbers by 365, so I don't know if this is in fact the same fact as yours, Joe.
Yeah, well, it is. And he's just tried mugging me off like that because the answer is 4,200,000 million times a year that you blink in order to wet your eyes as much as possible. Back to that number 20-20-20. What's 20/20 vision?
So, we were talking about the numbers, the numbers, yeah, good one. The letters on the chart, each, as they get progressively smaller, each one's given a grading. So the big one at the top has got a grading, the one that we want you to see. So 20/20 is actually an American term. So the first 20 is we test you at 20 feet. In the UK, we do it at 6 meters. Usually you've got a much smaller room with a mirror at the end. So it's a 3 meter room with a mirror. So
Clever.
the image is 6 meters away.
What?
Because otherwise you'd need a 6 metre room.
Yeah,
It's
back in
not
the
that
old,
hard to get a 6 metre room, is it?
But if you only need a 3 metre room, you can get 2 rooms
you
in.
get lots of them in.
How have you made the room bigger?
With the mirror.
What do you mean with the mirror?
Your image is double the distance away. So when you look in the mirror, you don't see yourself as on the plane. You see yourself as behind the mirror. So the letter chart is double the distance away, so you can make it 6 meters away.
You're sitting in the chair, Joe, and you're looking 3 meters in front of you at the letters, except you're looking at a mirror reflecting the letters that are actually behind you.
So when you look at the test chart, normally the letters are backwards. If you look straight at it, because you're looking at it in the mirror.
I could make my lounge bigger
Yeah.
But that's exactly right.
just by putting a mirror on the wall.
You go to a restaurant, you go, oh, it looks massive in here, and actually the one wall's a mirror, and it's not that big. That's
So why do we just use 20/20? Why
Oh,
don't we
sorry,
say
so, yeah.
6/6?
So we say 6'6" in there. So at 6 meters, you're seeing the line that you should see from 6 meters, basically. So if you're 6'6", that basically means 20/20. But you can get better than that. You can get 6'5" or 6'4", but people have heard of 20/20. So when I'm testing people's contact lenses, if they're seeing 6'6", I tell them it's 20/20 because they like that. They've heard of that.
Of the other things that an optometrist does, to me, Mark, because I go into the opticians hoping that my eyes are the same, the little letters chart always seems slightly like a stitch up because you always put a P next to an F.
It's not stitch up. It's knowing. So if you're guessing the letters and you happen to guess them right, I don't necessarily know that prescription is exactly as it could be or is as good as it could be. Whereas if I make them quite difficult, so you'll sometimes double a letter on a line, so people think, oh, there's no way that they'll double the letter,
Never
so they
thought
guess
that.
something else.
Oh, so it's different
Yeah.
everywhere. It's not just the bog standard.
You have different
Eye chart.
manufacturers, but so old school, you used to just have the same pretty much eye chart in most places, and there's only specific letters we use, so you won't ever get an S because you can't really mistake an S for anything else.
Such a stitch up.
Whereas you always use letters that are kind of, but then you know if they're reading it, they're reading it. As simple as that. You know, if you're correct, if your prescription is correct, you'll get it right. So it's not stitch up. It's just if you can't read it, you need new glasses.
So do you have your own? Do you choose what chart that you have at your opticians, or
Yeah, so most places now have got digital charts and they've got numerous, different letters and stuff, so you can randomise them as well.
yeah? So you can edit them how you want to edit them.
I can't write fuck on it, no.
Sake. I just love to go into and just like, so the first line you're like PEN, right? Next line IS. I'd just fucking hell, it'd be so good, wouldn't it? That'd be so good, and to film them reading them aloud without noting, because they're just like, oh, these all jumbled up, but you're actually spelling out, I want your penis. Why is it that you can't sneeze without shutting your eyes? What's that about?
Would your eyes pop out?
I doubt they'd pop out, but they'd probably bulge forward, which wouldn't be very comfortable. Not as in stay there, but there's quite a lot of force in a sneeze, isn't there? So, yeah, I think it's just a protective thing.
That's a very good point there.
Have you ever sneezed with your eyes open?
There must have been somebody that's propped them open and tried to sneeze, but
Oh, no.
I don't want to do it.
Is it play on to do this?
What are you doing? Oh! What have you just done to your eye?
Is it play on to flip your eyelids?
I do that. I have to do that
Inside
in
out.
practice a lot. Anybody that wears
Would
contact
you-
lenses, I have to do that to people.
It's deeply unpleasant when that
Say that
happens, I'll
again.
be honest.
You have to do that to someone to put their
So
contacts in.
if they are a contact lens wearer, as part of their routine check, you'll often look at the inside of their eye. Yeah,
Let me just look under your eyelid. That's fucking.
yeah.
Is it? I don't have contacts, but putting it in.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, it's so hard. Like, why every time I look up, I've seen people do it, and they're always looking up away from it. But then when I look up and away from it, I can't see my finger to then put it in my eye. So how is it a best technique to put your contacts in?
To be honest, putting them in, there is a best way. Normally, you don't look up to put them in. You generally look up to take them out. But there's a definite wrong way to take them out, which is pinching them straight off your cornea, because if you scratch it, like we said before, that's bad. But you want to move it to the white bit so that if you did scratch it, it won't really do a lot. But putting them in, there's no real wrong way. There's all sorts of weird and wonderful ways. We've got a lady with no arms that wears contact lenses. She puts them in with her feet.
Pardon?
Yeah, because she does everything with her feet. She washes her face, she eats her food, she does everything because she's got no arms. So she sort of crosses her legs and uses her left leg. She puts her right leg over her left knee and then lifts her left leg up and it pushes her toe towards her.
That's
face.
fucking incredible.
It's mental.
amazing.
It's mad. It's incredible to watch. Yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to picture doing it with my own toe.
How far up your body could you get with your toe? Let's have a little look. Okay, so you've got your right leg crossed over your left knee, and here comes the... you're about a foot away. Go on, pull it in.
Yeah, she hasn't got arms to pull it in.
You're still about half a foot away, I'd say.
Yeah, but I've got a gut. I presume she's a small, slender lady.
She was quite slim, but then I guess if your life is you have to eat with your feet, you'd just get flexible, wouldn't
You
you?
get good at it.
Yeah.
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 Is it true, Mark, that the contact lens, if not invented, was first thought of by Leonardo da Vinci?
Apparently so. I haven't asked him, but he drew it up as a kind of idea that I think he stuck his head in some water and saw that it changed the way you see things. So he kind of came up with a way of doing it. But he never drew a little tiny thing that goes on your eye, but he drew the kind of initial workings of a lens on your eye or some sort of way of correcting your vision with something on your eye. But then there was some weird guy that then started gluing stuff to his eyes later down the line. That's bad. Don't do that.
Is there going to be something in the future? Because people these days have laser eye surgery. I remember watching a program on this a number of years ago, and there was a big conference full of optometrists talking about laser eye treatment. The majority of these optometrists were wearing glasses. I remember thinking, hang on a second, if this laser eye treatment, Joe, is so effective, how come the people doing it are wearing glasses?
They were the clear glass guys.
Clear glass guys.
Maybe.
Maybe.
To be honest, the thing is with laser eye surgery is for most people it goes really, really well. There are some people where it doesn't go well, and they'll make you sign a form to say if you go blind, then can't sue me, basically. And it happens so rarely, but they can cock it up. So when you wear glasses, that ain't going to happen, you know. So there's that side of it, but then also, I think it depends who you ask. Me in practice as an optician, I do glasses and contact lenses. So I don't know an awful lot about laser correction, but I don't really sort of promote it because if you go and have that, you're not coming to see me. And similarly, other way around, people that do it as a job, laser eye correction, you're going to want to say, yeah, come and see me and I'll sort it out. But inevitably, it doesn't last forever. Never lasts forever. So usually, I see people about 10 years down the line, and if you're short-sighted, it generally speaking, gets a bit worse every time you come in. So if I put you to 0 now,
What? Because you make it.
No.
You mean it gets worse?
Your vision
and then
gets
they
worse.
come in. Not it gets worse because
No,
they've
not
come
because
in,
they've
you
come in.
punch
No.
them in both eyes.
No, I've put a special lens in to make sure it gets worse. No, but if you get laser correction today, inevitably in 10 years, that little progression will then mean you've got a reasonable prescription in 10 years again. So then you're going to need glasses or contacts again.
Right, I need a short break to rest my eyes. So here are the ads.
Those were the adverts. Mark, my first post-advert question is about how hereditary eyesight is. So let's say your parents have got bad eyes. Does that mean you are necessarily going to have bad eyes?
It doesn't definitely mean it, but probably, yeah. I mean, you see parents with, if both parents especially have got, high short-sightedness, then the chances are the kids are gonna come in and need an eye test and probably wear glasses as well. But we're in a really good position now where children can have corrective lenses that might stop the progression of their short-sightedness. So it doesn't mean they always end up really short-sighted like their parents. We can slow it right down potentially.
Are there some countries or cultures where there are more people with bad eyesight?
Yeah, you tend to sort of East Asians generally are quite short-sighted as a general rule, and you get from different places in the world. They're more likely to have certain eye conditions as well.
Why is that?
Just the
Different
natural
shape
makeup.
eyes, genetics.
It's genetics really, and to do with the shapes of their eyes and yeah.
We said earlier about sun affecting. Does that affect how you see then? Not just.
The only thing that can damage your eyes is UV light. That can damage. That's why it's so important to wear sunglasses. UV light can damage your eyes, and it will progress on cataracts, macular degeneration, those sort of things. It will make that worse. Other than stabbing yourself in the eye, that will damage your eye, obviously. But that's the only thing that will damage your eye. Nothing else will. So it is important to block that out. Yeah.
What is a cataract? Is that when your eyes go like grey?
It doesn't. Sort of goes grey. That you've got a lens inside your eye that you don't see, and that goes cloudy, basically. So
Why? Just because you get old?
pretty much, yeah. Same as anything, your knees get knackered.
Fucking
hips
hell.
get knackered. But then the good thing is we can deal with it. We just do a cataract operation.
Which involves what? Just taking that out?
Yeah. So you put a bit of anaesthetic in, and they cut into the side of your eye, suck that lens out, and then put a artificial one in.
Are you awake?
Yeah. You're
Fucking hell, Mark! Don't say it so casually like that.
It's really
Look
takes
how
about.
oh you sicko! Look how happy you are about describing that operation.
Yeah.
You cut someone's eye open.
I don't personally.
No.
I'm
like,
not qualified.
they cut their eye open.
It's a tiny little. So between the coloured part and the white part, they kind of go in there. They liquefy it. And yeah.
Can you stitch an eye back?
Yeah, there's stitches. They have their dissolvable stitches that they, because you can get corneal grafts as well. If people got really, really bad problems with their eyes, so like somebody's got a really bad scar or they've had a really bad ulcer on their eye that you can get from incorrect contact lens wear, you can actually get corneal grafts. They take a cornea off a dead person and stick it on your eye.
So it's just the cornea. It's not.
Not the whole eye.
Whole eye.
No.
Why do we have 2 eyes rather than 4 or 8 or 1?
I think one. Obviously, some people are born with no vision in one eye, or they have an injury where they lose an eye or something. If you are born with it, you actually get used to it quite quickly. But if you lost one, you use both eyes for depth perception. Call it stereopsis. So I can see that you're closer to me than Joe is because both eyes are working out the image, they can use that as depth. Whereas one eye, it's a lot harder. It's a lot more 2D when you're just using one eye. You can kind of guess when something's bigger that it's probably closer. But like driving, I'm not suggesting you do this, but when people are driving, if they suddenly lose an eye, you can drive with just one eye. You're legally allowed to drive with just one eye, but it's the depth perception thing's a bit weird.
So having 3 eyes would really help us, or would it?
Don't think so.
Just try it, Jay. Just put your hand over your eye there, so you've got one eye functioning.
Yeah, I have.
Better, worse, or the same?
As what?
2 eyes.
Worse because I can't see the right stuff. So like with 2 eyes, I can see. Oh, is that what they mean by peripheral? Is that what they mean by peripheral revision?
Yeah.
Fuck's sake, that's not how you say it. Is that what they mean by peripheral? What is peripheral? What's that?
Peripheral vision.
There we go.
So when I'm looking at your face, that's my central vision. I can see the windows over there. I can see the cameras there, but I'm not looking directly at it. That is my peripheral vision.
How can I see? How can I look at you, but actually also see that this camera's there? How am I looking at both?
Your retina is quite big, and the light is coming in, bouncing off of that camera, and still entering your pupil and hitting a part of your retina. It's just not hitting the really detailed good bit. So the bit for detail is right bang in the middle.
So what would have to happen for me to be able to see slightly more behind me? So, like, is there something physical I could do to my eyes to then make me see 2 foot more to my left?
Well, if your pupils are bigger, so if the light was right down, your pupils are bigger, it's letting more light in. So that would help. But, I mean, you can't see behind you without a mirror, unfortunately. But, yeah, you're not going to... You can't train your peripheral vision. You can't do anything, really. It's just... But if your pupils are bigger, which it would naturally be when it's darker, you wouldn't see around corners, but you'd see more around the edge.
I'm really interested about this point that you've made about you can't train your eyes, really. Because we had a company come in to the rugby team and come with us during the World Cup and prior to the World Cup. And it was like eye training. And they also, I think Clive Woodward was a big...
He was the first with Cheryl Corner, I think
that was
her
it.
name
He was a big advocate for it back in 2003 that you were doing all this eye training. It's not technically eye training then, is it? Is it reaction training or...
Yeah, I mean, if you ask anybody that's ever done any sort of clinical optometry course or anything, can you train your eyes to make yourself less short-sighted or less long-sighted? The answer is no, you can't. It's not like muscles are wearing out as you get older either. If you start becoming long-sighted, you start, needing to read. Your muscles aren't getting weaker. It's just your lens is less flexible, and that's just getting older. That's just what it is.
The boys, this is fucking brilliant. The boys would be losing their absolute nut. They had to do like a certain amount in a day, and it was all these different stuff on a TV computer, all these different stuff on a computer, and the boys would be like, fuck's sake, you've got to sit for half an hour doing all these different things, different balls, different colours, different things, losing the nut. But they're like, they keep doing it because they go, this is going to make our eyes better, this is what's going to make us eyes
Probably
better.
more a reactionary thing or a...
Wasn't dressed like that, I'm afraid.
No.
Was not dressed like that. What's tunnel vision? Is that literally where you just put your hands on the side of your face and you can only then see what you see?
Yeah, there's certain eye conditions that will cause it. So glaucoma is probably the most known one, and that will affect your peripheral vision and make you have slightly more tunnel vision, yeah. If it's untreated especially, you will lose a lot of your peripheral vision, yeah.
Just trying to picture myself as a horse.
I think it would suit you having eyes on the side of your head.
Why do they cover the horse's eyes?
Blinkers.
Yeah, why do they put the blinkers on?
I think
So
it's
just looking at the finish line, I guess.
Oh, that's why they do it. So they like don't
giving it tunnel vision.
on purpose.
It would probably crap itself at all the other horses, to be honest. Like, they're quite skittish, aren't they? So all the other crap that's going on at the side might put them off.
What if one of your other senses drops off? Like, you'll have heard this, Joe. Well, we talked to our blind guest, didn't we, BJ, about what this was like and about whether your hearing responds to going blind. If you lose another one of your senses, Mark, do your eyes compensate in any way?
Your eyesight won't get better. I mean, if you've got good vision, you can't get better than perfect vision. It just is, I guess your reliance on it becomes higher. So probably you'd think about it more. If you became deaf, then you would think that it was better because you're relying on it all the time for everything. Whereas if you're born with it, you wouldn't know.
Joe, if you had to lose one of your senses, which one would you lose?
Oh, I would. My sense of pain. Is that a sense?
Touch, I suppose.
Touch.
Yeah.
Oh, does that mean I wouldn't be able to feel my?
Yeah.
Oh. Sense of touch. No.
I mean, that could work both ways, though.
Smell would affect my taste, wouldn't it?
We'll separate off smell and taste for the
Hang on.
purposes of this question.
Hang on, let's shut my eyes for a little bit. All right, Tom.
Yep, all good, thanks, Joe. How are you?
All right, Mark, how are you getting on?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Great to see you, mate. Oh, fuck. I'd have to stop saying that, wouldn't I? fuck's
Great to hear you.
sake. I remember taking Jasper to a
Nice
game.
to touch you.
And I took him on his own and brought him in the changing room. And he was with me. On the warm-up, I put him on the bench. And I said to one of the kit men or assistants, Brian, who's fucking incredible, lovely, lovely man. But he's got this condition where he's gradually over time losing his sight. And his sight's not very good. And I just remember as we were running out, going, Jasper, right, here's Brian. Brian's going to look after you, all the best. I'll just be out here. If you need me, just shout, because I'll be on the pitch. It's fine. I went, Brian, you're all right. Keep an eye on him, aren't you? And as soon as I said it, I went, oh, fucking hell. And he was just looking at me like, funny, is it? I went, yeah, sorry about that one, mate. It'll just leave that one thing. I was like, why the fuck have I said?
So what are you losing?
Oh, shit, yeah. What am I losing? Ears. My ears.
No, you wouldn't have to lose your ears, just the function of your ears.
Yeah, losing them.
Okay. About smell. You bother about smell?
Yeah, but then I can't taste nothing, can I?
No, we've separated them off. You can have taste as a separate one.
I can have taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck the smell off then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Easier in some ways, wouldn't it?
Why?
Solve a lot of well, you know what I'm saying.
Fine, fair enough. Beer goggles.
Yes.
Is that actually related to the eyes, or is it just because you've got your mind pissed?
I think it's just lower inhibitions. I think your eyes aren't affected. No,
Are you sure? So there's no correlation between someone not being someone that you fancy to then being someone that you fancy because you've had 10 pints?
I think after 10 pints, you're more interested in what you might be doing with that person than the actual person.
What's your experience of beer goggles, Joe?
No comment.
So Salvino Darmat. Anyone heard of him?
Tell me more.
Salvino Darmat? Darmat?
Tomat.
Salvino Darmat. You don't know who Salvino Darmat is?
Don't look so pleased with yourself.
He's the bloke that invented glasses in the 13th century. Italian. Do you remember what they used to look like?
Without glasses.
They used to be these like little wooden things that they put. You discover that you do that concave thing, put them in a little bit of wooden, and they'd just put them over their eyes when they're doing it.
More for reading, I think.
Yeah,
Just,
I prefer to do that.
Like a
Like
monocle.
Like a chunky monocle, yeah.
Like, oh, you just there's one like that. Another fact for you, and this one really struck me hard. 80%, 80 that is. In case of
What's the fact?
is of all learning comes through the eyes.
What does that even mean?
So if you say, for example, you were an actor
Yeah,
and you had a script to learn,
yeah.
80% of that script would be learnt through your eyes, and the other 20% is through your hearing because you're saying it back to you. So I'd be going, our guest today is Mark. He's a listener and he's an optician, or is he? Our guest today is Mark, and that's so 80-20.
I think most actors tend to use tapes, don't they, of their lines rather than read them off a script. But
Okay.
if there's
Another example
you could give us.
if you're learning to do the Cruyff turn, is it called?
Cruyff turn, yeah.
Cruyff turn. And what you do is you Google that, you YouTube it, and you watch someone doing it, and 80% of you watching that is coming through your eyes. The other 20% is...
I think 100% of you watching it is coming through your eyes, isn't it?
That's what you think, Tom. But I was hoping our optician, optometrist friend would jump in and help me and go, yeah, that sounds believable.
It wasn't a topic at uni, I'm afraid.
Oh, fuck. Why can't we see underwater?
So light travels through the air into our eyes in a certain way, and then when it's in water, it's different. So our eyes have developed to be able to see in air. So as soon as it's in a different medium, water, whatever it is, you can't see as well.
Why do we look into someone's eyes, Mark? Well, than the other part of that. I mean, Joe, you may look into a different part of Daisy, I don't know, but what?
I do not sit here and dream up different ways of talking about Murph's orifices and how you do or do not look inside them. Please take my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth.
So why the eyes, Mark?
I think eyes are kind of known for emotion. If you can see in somebody's eyes if they're happy or sad, or the rest can kind of lie a little bit, but the eyes, generally speaking, they kind of always say that if you can hide the fact that you're sad, except if you really look at somebody, you can kind of tell usually.
Joe, are you familiar with Danny Champion of the World?
The book by Roald Dahl.
Correct.
Never read it.
Okay. There's a line at the start of that which always stuck with me as a kid, and he's talking about how his dad, when he is happy, he doesn't smile, doesn't fake a smile, but you can see it in his eyes, and he contrasts it with the bad guys who might do a mouth smile, but you look in their eyes and you can tell they don't mean it.
Yeah, what? Yeah, hang on.
Right, so you're covering up the lower half of your face.
I?
So me and Mark have got to guess whether you're smiling or not. Smile or not smile
Ready?
now.
Ready? Go.
Not smile.
He wasn't smiling.
Good.
Okay, next
Ready?
go. Joe is covering his face.
Hang on.
Whose go is it now?
Ready?
Okay, we're just seeing your eyes. Joe, you're not smiling. You weren't smiling.
Okay.
Oh, fuck! Great.
We're coming up with such great content today.
So many visual gags.
Right, last one.
Mark, you guess. Okay, so Joe's covering his face. We can only see his eyes. Mark, is Joe smiling behind his hands or not smiling?
I think he's smiling this time.
What is that expression?
I can sort of get how we've learnt so much about human eyes, but I sat there looking at my dog the other night, and people say, oh, they can only see in black and white, or they can only see this far ahead of them, or, oh, here we go, the mantis shrimp. Remember the marine biologist episode we had? They can see over 4 times the amount of... Nope. They've got 4 times the amount of colour receptors than humans have, and they can see UV light. So my question, in the roundabout way, is how the fuck do we know they can see that? Because they can't tell us what they can or can't see. So Tom can sit here and go, oh, I can see this room is purple and that board is black and there's a mirror there. There's no shrimp there going, meh, I can see magenta times 17. Do you know what I mean? How do we know that these animals have you got any idea of why?
I don't really know, but I'd guess that they've exposed them to UV light and seen if there's any sort of reaction to that. Whereas to us, if you put UV light there, we won't be able to. We don't know it's there. Whereas they would react in some way, I guess. Probably stuck an electrode on them and see.
Is
if
UV is UV light the purple light that you put on for like a neon rave?
That might be neon.
What's UV light then?
So no, UV light. Yeah, you get the purple bulb, don't you? So
Yeah.
that's just the
Yeah,
color of the
fuck you,
glass.
Tom.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah. The light itself doesn't have a color to it. So if you shone it on something, it doesn't really. It's just the bulb glass is purple, but all light is on a kind of spectrum. You know, you see it kind of splits like a rainbow. On the blue end of the spectrum, you've just the other side of what you can see, which is the visible light. You've got ultraviolet. So it kind of goes blue, violet, then ultraviolet, but you can't see that. It's outside of what our eyes can see. So it makes sense that what was it, mantis shrimp can see just the other end of that because it's got a wider spectrum of colour receptors.
What advantage? Let's say we leave the studio today and a miracle has occurred and all 3 of us have developed the ability to see UV light. Is it helping us?
I imagine it would be awful because it's sun. Well, you'll probably be blinded because it's just constant all around us. It would be. Whereas
There's UV light all the time.
Yeah, in the sun. Not in here. If we go outside, as soon as the sun was out, I imagine it would be pretty blinding.
We'd be blind outside.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, the thing is with the shrimp, it's underwater, so there's not a lot of light. So seeing some UV would be helpful.
No advantage whatsoever.
I doubt it. No.
Elton John's glasses real, or has he got those fake ones?
I think, well, back in the day, definitely they're real because you could look at the lenses, you could see his eyes are really small. So he's definitely quite short-sighted when he was younger. Nowadays, I don't know. He might have had corrective surgery and now it's just a thing that he has. But he definitely needed them early days.
Best glasses wearers in the celebrity world, Mark? Whose glasses?
RuPaul's great.
Not big on celebrities, to be honest.
Gokwan.
Gokwan's kind of known for his glasses, aren't they? Obviously, Elton.
That Deirdre from Corrie.
Yeah.
Remember hers?
Yeah.
Classic.
Dame Edna.
Yeah.
They do glasses wearer of the year.
Oh,
do
They do companies do them and stuff. Yeah.
Is there
have a look.
does there has to be a rule that they're real glasses?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Glass.
I don't think so. They're just.
They should have different sections. We'll have a clear glass winner and we'll have an actual
What's quite good is that they do it based on the glasses actually suiting them. It's not just some really fit Love Island model person with some glasses on.
Fits their whole look.
It's yeah. Like quite often you'll get like an older person win it, or you'll get just because the glasses really work.
Why do onions make us cry?
So when you cut an onion, it releases a kind of compound, and it aggravates the lacrimal gland that is always going.
The lacrimal.
Lacrimal. Yeah.
Is that the tear gland?
Yeah.
So
it aggravates.
is there a difference between tear gland and a tear duct?
Yes. So a tear gland makes tears.
Yeah.
And a tear duct transports tears.
Oh, okay. I'm just looking deep into your eyes. You got great eyes.
Thanks.
Are they brown?
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. You're quite far away, and my depth perception's pretty poor. There's such twinkles in them. So
white
I
lights.
just want to break it down. The white bit is called the what?
The white bit. So you've got the sclera, which is the white part.
Yeah.
And then you've got like a thin membrane over it called your conjunctiva.
Conjunctiva.
Yeah.
And that's, you can get conjunctivitis in that
That's an
bit.
infection of that.
Then the coloured bit,
Mhm.
what's that called?
So the actual coloured bit is your iris,
Yeah.
and then you've got like a clear bubble over the front of it called your cornea.
And then any other part of that eye that you've described, all the other, what's the bit at the back?
The retina.
Retina. And that, is that the back inside
Yeah.
the eyeball?
Yeah, it's like a membrane on the inside of the eyeball.
And then at the back of my eyeball, I've got something attached. Whenever I see someone's eye pop out in films, they're always attached to this stringy bit.
yeah, it's the optic nerve.
So
bit
that's the
that
optic
takes the
nerve,
light to your
and
brain.
that goes down behind your head.
It
and
sort of
then-
goes round the side, really. It crosses
Oh.
over behind your eyes. There's obviously got one on each eye.
So hang on, my right eye goes to the left side of
Yeah.
my brain,
Yeah, yeah.
left side of my head, and my
Well-
my left eye goes to the right side.
It's a bit more complicated than that.
Why are the
so-
eyes so fucking backwards?
No, it's like a protective thing. It's a bit more complicated than that. So 50% of your right eye goes round the left side, and 50% of your right eye goes to the right side. And it's to do with if you get hit on the head,
Yeah.
you're only going to lose half of your vision. You're not going to suddenly lose all of it. Yeah, so that crossover in the middle is only 50% of it that crosses over.
Who in the fuck invented this?
Well, that's a bigger question.
Yeah, that is quite a deep question.
But yeah, but the more like sort of episodes we do on the body and your brain and everything, what the fuck? Who made this shit? Because it is clever.
It's amazing.
Because you go, even that point that you go 50% thing, because in case you get knocked on the head, then you don't lose it all. You can still have this come, and you're like, fucking hell, whatever it was. There's part of me that is then going to start believing that there's got to be a higher power that did that. What do you believe, Mark?
I don't believe in higher powers, to be honest. I think,
Oh.
we evolved to be that way.
Yeah, but fuck, I believe that too, but I'm not sure I do.
There's a doubt in your mind now, is there?
There's a doubt just from that one simple eye fact that has made me go, shh, fuck, that can't have been random.
I'm not sure anybody's clever enough to think of that, to make that a thing. It must have happened naturally.
I'm enjoying where this chat's gone today.
Fuck.
How would you improve the eyes, Joe? On that point, we're not intelligent enough to come up with them. What little tweaks would you
I would
make?
like to have the ability to stick my head out the window when we're driving really fast on the M25, not above speed limit, obviously.
Are you behind the wheel or someone else is driving?
Someone else driving, obviously, and I've got my eyes open, and I don't want them to cry, and I don't want them to dry out. I want that ability to just have wet eyes all the time.
Just wear swimming goggles. Be right.
He's actually nailed it. Next time I go out, I'll be putting my goggles
Head out
in
with
the
swimming
van,
goggles.
just so I can experience. I want that experience for the rest of my face without my eyes being like, oh fuck. Oh, and I would also change it so that you could see more. So we can see what's that? 180.
Yeah.
I want to be able to see 220.
Yeah.
Is that 220?
About 220. What about if I offered you the opportunity to literally have eyes in the back of your head? Like people say, oh, it's like you've got eyes in the back of your head. What if you could literally have eyes in the back of your head?
Nah,
No?
that ruins the fun.
Is it as well as your own eyes, or is
It's just
instead
double. Yeah,
of?
it's double, and you can turn them on and off like a rear view camera. So you're not constantly just looking behind you or looking at your hair if you've got hair over them. You could just access them when you wanted. Like when you go into reverse in your car, you might have a rear parking
Oh, okay.
camera. That'd be quite useful, wouldn't it?
They would be really useful, but I quite like the sense of surprise when someone's like trying to jump you or like creeping up behind you for some reason. You'd lose that ability, wouldn't
You'd
you?
lose that, yeah.
Oh, no, in fact, no, you wouldn't, because unless you
shut
added
them
a
off.
spider sense,
Yes.
because you don't know whether to turn them on or not at the time. So if they're turned off and someone's trying to mug you,
Still do it.
they can still do that. So yeah, I'd have that. Thanks.
What about the idea of having like a supplementary eye on a finger, which would act as a sort of like a zoom-in camera where you could sort of point it at something, or let's say you want to try and see under something, but you can't get your head low enough because obviously our eyes are on our heads. Having an eye on your finger where you could just sort of have a little look under a table or something.
I mean, the army have got those things that they stick under doors with
That's
little
true,
cameras,
yeah.
haven't they? So I don't think you would. I can't see anybody evolving to have that anytime soon.
I've just seen Joe's face and I know what use he's thinking of the finger eye. Joe's decided to do with the finger eye when he develops it. The first weekend you had a finger eye, you wouldn't leave the house, would you?
I want a finger eye so bad. I just want a finger eye.
You've had your finger eye for 10 minutes. You've got an eye infection already.
Have you got? We got a couple more minutes. Have you got? Got any weird contact lens stories? What's the worst sort of contact lens story that you can imagine? if you leave them in overnight, why are they sore the next day? Why is that?
People are gross with contact lenses often. They don't do what they. I mean, they come to me for them, and come to the expert for it, and then they just totally ignore what you say. So you're not supposed to sleep in contact lenses, really. There are some that you can do it, but even still, you're at higher risk. But if you sleep in contact lenses that aren't designed for it, you can get things like eye ulcers, so like very similar to a mouth ulcer, but on your cornea. Agony, absolute agony. If you get a bad enough one, you're blind if it's right in the middle.
But then, if so, Tom, you need contacts. You take them out at night, do you?
Mm-hmm.
I come round your house, and I'm a stranger, so I'm not me.
Okay.
So someone else
Not
comes
you.
round your house.
Yeah.
So it's not me. They break in and they start burgling your place.
Yeah.
And then they come upstairs to try and strap you up and not kidnap you.
Yeah.
Worthless.
True.
Just tie you up so they could nick more of your bikes.
Worthless stuff. Yeah.
And shit. No, you've got nice bikes. Yeah. And what's the address? And you've got no contacts in because you have to take them out at night because that's what the expert has said. And then you can't see. So you're there like there. You're trying to bat away. They've nicked Murph. They've put the kids in the back of the van. And if you had the ability to see with those contacts in, you'd have been able to stop that or at least attempt. So...
Number one, I like how, as you put that scenario to me, you shut your eyes. Literally what I thought. Create the illusion in your head of being sightless.
So, wouldn't you prefer to be able to have your contacts in at night?
Yes,
Just for that thing?
I would. Equally, I've got the glasses on the bedside table, so it's the work of a moment.
Yeah,
to bam,
but
bam.
in that moment, you haven't got time to think. You've got to put that... and you could then end up poking yourself in the eye by doing it too quickly, putting the glasses on.
You're right, Joe, but I would almost flip that round and say I think contact lenses are miraculous. They just seem incredible to me that you could put this very, very thin, sort of rubbery, flexible thing in your
What are they
eye.
made out of?
Silicon mostly. They've got a lot of water in them, but the best ones have got silicon in them mostly.
They seem miraculous to me that you can just pop these. So I popped mine in this morning, whatever time it was, 7:30, and I won't think about them until I take them out at whatever time it is we get home after recording these shows. And it's given me perfect vision. That to me is absolutely miraculous. You can't see them. I don't feel them. They just sit there doing this job. It's amazing.
What's weird about contacts as well in this country, so in the UK, only about 11% of glasses wearers also wear contacts, whereas in America it's more like 60%.
Really?
Yeah, very, very few. I think people get confused that you wear them pretty full time by the sounds of things. People think that, oh no, I'm quite happy in my glasses, but there's always something that you do that contacts will be
Well,
better for.
sport is so handy.
Yeah, and
if I'm
but-
going swimming.
Yeah, although you're not supposed to swim in contact lenses.
Yes!
Oh yeah. What about with goggles?
What type of contact lenses? Are they daily ones that you bin, or do you wash?
Fortnightly.
Oh, yeah, you're not supposed to swim in those.
Oh,
It's the end of that particular pursuit that I enjoy.
hold up.
Yeah.
So hang on, you can get fortnightly ones
Yeah.
and daily ones.
Yeah.
Sure, that's a fucking waste, isn't it?
Well, dailies pretty much are the best for your eyes as far as health, and because you're putting a sterile, fresh one in every day, you're not having to rely on cleaning it and stuff.
Not good for the world, though, is it? Where are you mining that silicon from?
You say that with a monthly or a 2 weekly one, you still got to put it in a plastic case, which also isn't recyclable, so it's not much better for the world.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of people change to monthlies thinking it's better for the world, but it's actually not really, to be honest.
Oh.
And you can recycle contact lenses now.
As what?
They get made into all sorts of things, like kids' playground stuff and things, like plastic.
You can make a kid's playground out of a contact lens.
Not one. Be a massive
It's a
contact lens.
fucking
Absolutely
tiny. It must be so hard to make. And no one can go on it.
Yeah.
Hey kids, I've made this playground for
Thanks,
you
Dad.
out of a contact lens.
Like
You
Zoolander.
can't fucking do it.
The playground for ants.
So good. Tom, have you got any more questions?
Those are all my questions.
That is a lovely way to end this episode of Absolute Nonsense. But thank you so much for coming on, Mark. It's been brilliant.
Thank you for having me. Really enjoyed it.
Good man.
Thanks, Mark.
Ah.
That's so good.